Hey guys, what's up? Yep, I'm still the wicked lady hippie at the bar, and I am live. The bar is at my house. Let's do the 70s round table like we used to do, talk about whatever the hell we wanted to. Trust me, I do that anyway. I really don't need to have a guest. I'm just a retired, I'm an Army veteran, published author, mother of one, grandmother of two. One of them is also an Army veteran. Here's your hat, hippies unite. I've been up here off and on for 3 years, and I've been thinking about not staying up. I had to change channels because I was severely injured and was literally unable to do anything for almost 2 years. And I've come back, and my channel was frozen for inactivity, of course. And even though I got up there and I tried to tell everybody, "Hey, I'm over here now," I'm not one of the, I don't know what it is, the it clan. I get up here because it's fun, and I think it's the neatest thing to say invented air conditioning. And the fact is that I think the hippies are not represented. We've been too busy keeping ahead of all of the equipment. And luckily, after 2012, 2015, they settled down just a wee bit. They added a couple of cameras to the phone, but other than that, we're good. Oh, and there was the big discovery at Giza, which I talked about last time. Don't know what the hell's going on with that. Got all kinds of crap going on. I mean, it's beginning to get biblical, folks. I don't know what you need, but I don't need volcanoes, new volcanoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, forest fires, all at the same time, all around the world. Colombia, Colombia, in Southern America. I think that's the, now I'm actually having to question myself. Had a 7.4 earthquake, and it's terrible. Japan, a few weeks back, also had, I think theirs was a 5.4. But Japan is kind of ready for that. They built their everything they've done, I think, since the 21st century is on like shocks, so that it can move. And I don't think they build as many high rises as they used to. I'm not sure. I got to hand that off. Loved Europe, hasn't changed. I think they have a big problem. I think America has a big problem. I love the new Trump bump. I learned it. I had to do the dance. Since I've been back on my feet, there's only so much I can do with one leg. It just sit down, bitch. Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of censorship on this, unless, of course, YouTube does that. And they occasionally will do that because I like to have a little noise in the background, usually music, and they take umbrage at that. I do not know why. It's on the airwaves. It's free. I'm not playing CDs, what have you. And I didn't know you couldn't have music behind you. Ooh. There are other podcasters that probably know. Again, I run this show. I wear all the hats. I get up here just to talk to everybody. I got live chat up if y'all want to join in. Hit the like, hit something, tell me you was there. Again, trying to decide whether I should keep doing this. I think, like I said earlier, the hippies are underrepresented. I'm going to have, cheers. My husband buys me whiskey fireballs. I love those things. It's like the old, I don't know about anybody else's age, is if they had this candy. We used to call them goobers, I think. They were big, and they had tons of cinnamon, so you couldn't keep them in your mouth long until it was easy enough for your teeth to break biting one. So it reminds me of that. And I like the little airplane bottles. So my husband gets me a bucket. I kid you not, it's a bucket. It's a plastic bucket full of these little airplane bottles of Fireball whiskeys, and he knows I like that. I had to quit smoking about 6 years ago. And my son's not happy with this. A friend of mine was here at the bar, and he had a cigarillo. I don't know what they call these. My husband gets these for me. Because I don't want to say I've gone back to smoking, and so he allows me to come up here, have a quick job with y'all, as they used to say when I was growing up. My adopted parents were World War IIers, so I'm one of those who keep saying, well, if Walmart closes for a week, we're all dead. Who can make their own bread? Who can flower garden, who can understand what a garden is or how to get it, where the seeds, none of that. I've watched them dummy down the next three generations below me, literally. And I mean dummy down, dumb as a box of rocks. Most of them think they're gay, they're four. I mean, I knew what kind of stuff was kind of going on at that age. I'm not saying that. The only confusion I was having was where was my next encyclopedia coming from? Because school just, I couldn't understand why it was so stupid. And we were a top education system in Chicago. Well, I did have a good education. I had access to all kinds of stuff. I was a gymnast, fencing, tennis, swimming, all of those things, getting ready. I took shorthand, for God's sakes, learned how to type in sixth grade on a manual typewriter that had no letters on it. You just had to know where to put your fingers and do it without making an error. And I was good at that. You can't type faster than you can read. So my career in the military, since I had enlisted in the WAC Corps, turned out they had disbanded that. Apparently while I was in mid-flight, I don't know. But we landed at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. It's also where my husband trained well before me, and his brother trained well before me. And yet, that's a very basic training place that a lot of people get sent there. My grandson didn't. He got sent to Oklahoma in the summer for boot camp. Poor baby. They asked us women when we landed, they said, you're no longer in the WAC Corps. The WAC Corps has been disbanded. You will now be regular Army. You'll be treated as a man. So you are now a soldier, not a female, not a man. You're a soldier. And if you want to stay, we will train you. If you want to leave, we will pay for you to go home. And there's nothing about anything wrong with your record. And 201, we went, bring it. We were young and stupid. I came in with chevrons. I kind of breezed past schools and so forth and so on. I was a licensed vocational nurse / secretary. And being born in Cook County, Illinois, Chicago, when they went through the records, because again, these were people, our drill sergeants were Vietnam Airborne Rangers. My husband's Vietnam, I'm Vietnam era. I came in as the first company of women to train as soldiers and not WACs. So here I learned to be a bitchin' ass secretary and a nurse, field medic as well. And that's what I wanted to do when I was in. But you had to get through boot camp. I thought I was really prepared. I ran track. I did all this stuff, fencing, swimming, gymnasts. And those things did come in handy. And luckily, I'm 5'2". I didn't weigh spit. The radio back then weighed as much as I did. I had to carry it anyway. Everybody had to train with that. We ran through sand at Fort Jackson, sand. Plus, you have to run everywhere when you're training. And so we women all knew this. We've all got luggage because they told us to bring this, and this for the WAC Corps. We didn't need none of that for regular Army. You were given OD green back then. They think MASH. And that's what we had. And I think you would have seen, if you know MASH, you would have seen sometimes they had dress uniforms, especially the woman, I think, that was out there. She had hers on. It's a skirt kind of thing. And I love those. I love the beret. I had a beret, and I could wear that a lot. It was just easier, with the brim once you're sweating all in there. So you're always cleaning the hat. Because they would check that. The brass, they would check that. Your boots, oh, yes, they would check that. And so I said, I had chevrons. I'm from Chicago. I'm 17. My parents had to sign for me to go. And I had 3 diplomas. And so I had chevrons when I went. The more education you got in those days, you had a little rank. And everybody else was a trainee. I wasn't. I mean, I was, but I had rank, so they had to address me by rank. And the first thing that my CO, my commanding officer, did was say, "Bullock, no rank." And I'm standing there wanting to die. They've let us ground all the shit we were carrying. I was running around with 3 suitcases, a duffel bag, sheets and blankets and boots. So we got what they call grounding this. You got to put it down. And I'm like, yes, sir. Yeah. He says, I got your record here. Hey, is this you're from Chicago, Illinois? From Cook County, Illinois? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I had Vietnam veterans in my family, so I kind of knew how to, the rank and how to address somebody, or they'd yell at you. Mine did. He wore the XO, Captain and Lieutenant. And I said, no, sir, I don't. He said, you don't have a record. And I was like, no, sir, I really worked hard at that. I don't have a record. He said, okay, you're going to be called wicked from now on. You work for me personally. So when you have 10 minutes, I want those 10 minutes. Kill me now. So from the get-go, I'm screwed, right? And I found it funny. And I kind of just fell out. I mean, to the point where I couldn't stand up. I had to sit down because I was just laughing until I was crying. Other people, it was contagious. We've been out for 4 days. And we had been taken from being a WAC in the Women's Auxiliary Corps to being regular Army. So we were a little numb anyway. So we just all cracked up. And it spread, even to them. Even to them, they were laughing too. So it kind of broke some tension. After that, there was no more time. I think I didn't sleep until 91, 92. Who needs sleep? If you work 2 jobs and you go into college to relearn the new tech that came out in 6 weeks, you don't need sleep. But that's what the hippies were doing. We were just training constantly. I'm retired now, which I never thought I would be alive to say that I was retired. I never thought, I mean, when I was younger, the years, somebody would say 2012, that really came up a lot, or 2000 when everybody panicked. And I was like, I can't believe I'm still here. It's now we're looking at 2027 down the barrel, and I'm like, I cannot get over this. I have a birthday in 2 weeks. I highly doubt it's been 60 odd years, I almost said. But I'm not a young pup. So I wanted to get all of us up there like a round table the way we used to do. And my husband lets me have these, but only when I'm talking to y'all. I get a lot of grief from people who wonder how I do this. It's a bar. My husband redesigned the whole bottom of the house for me. New paint, hardwood floors, put the bar in, changed all of the furniture, including the bedding. Thousands of dollars he spent to redo all of it, and I love it. The blue is wonderfully calming to me, which is saying something because I've never been calm in my entire life. Anybody who knows me will tell you that. Especially my son, he's always, mother. I'm like, where did you fucking learn that? And no, it wasn't me. So today I missed Monday, and I'm thinking of actually moving these to just 1 day a week. Maybe just do Fridays, because even though I'm retired, I seem to have tons more to do. I have no idea why, but I turn around and I'll say something to my husband. He say, "What about this or that, like dinner or something?" I'm like, "What? It's 9:30, 10 o'clock. What are you talking about dinner?" It's 4:30. I'm absolutely positive time has been sped up. Nobody warned me, but it has been. I see. My husband and I both have a birthday in just a few weeks. We both also have our anniversary in just a few weeks. And we've been in this for decades. He hasn't run fast enough yet. I still stay armed. And yes, locomotive. It's an old habit, and I have many reasons for that. I love Texas, went back 6, 7 times. I'm now here in Augusta, Georgia. My husband is from Middle Georgia, say like Naked, below, Warner Robins, below. And I lived there back and forth. I would live there like a year or two and go, I can't take it anymore. I'm going back to San Antonio. Off I go. Same thing when I was working in D.C., Chevy Chase in Maryland. I lived there a lot. And finally, I was like, I got to go back to Texas. No matter where I went, Europe, no matter what, I always ended up moving back to Texas. So I moved a lot in my life. This home was my son's starter home. They found out when my grandson was 13 that they were about to have a baby They were building new homes in a subdivision in Grovetown, which is an offset of Augusta. So they wanted to buy this new huge home, huge. And we had been downsizing because we were about to buy a lakeside cabin type home. So they begged us to come here and buy their starter home because they tried without us and without any help from us, didn't tell us much. And finally they said, "You're in trouble. We can't get the house now unless the other house is sold." So we didn't get the house by the lake. We moved 3 hours away to Augusta. And I'm talking, we had outbuildings, one that looks like a barn red, with the white piping and all that storage building, huge. You could live in there. If you had to, you could. And we've had it for probably 15 years or more. Well, yeah, because we've been here 15 years almost. We came before my granddaughter was born, and she just turned 14. She's now in high school, which is like, oh my God. I've lived here for 15 years, and I have never lived anywhere in my life for 15 years, including Chicago. My parents have retired to a place called Christopher, Illinois. And of course, we kids went with them. I wasn't old enough to go yet, even though I had done all my preliminary work. I had to wait a few more months. They call it delayed entry. And I suspect that's when my orders for my plane went, a little south. They just didn't tell me. But we made it. Every one of us girls made it. I'm very proud of that. I now see women fighter pilots. Respect, ladies, respect. Make that shit dance. I love seeing that. And I love seeing them taking them off. Like I said, I do like that new song with the Trump. I learned to dance, and I have more metal in one of my legs than my car has. And most of my car is plastic. It's the 21st century. I don't think they build anything very well anymore. I love President Trump. I call him Donnie. And if he can call Kid Rock Bob, I'm going for Donnie. I love that. He's got a great sense of humor. I love the mugshot. Gulf of America. I saw Hillary Clinton hear that for the first time, and she busted it. Same thing I did, just broke out into laughter. Said, "That's great. That's fucking funny." I wonder how they feel about that, right? Couldn't do nothing. In Mexico. You ever been to Mexico? Yeah, you gotta have a passport to take your ass across. Not to come vice versa, though. You don't even have to get an ID once you get here. Down if you're from there. I told my husband, I said, quick, let's drive to New Braunfels, park the car somewhere safe, and get a backpack and come in across the Rio Grande, get a 2-week vacation at a hotel for free. He didn't agree. So I went back here, and I've been here a long time now. And it's unusual for me. And now my child, I have the one, and he's now considering moving to another area because they think it's gotten too busy here. And it has. They both have high government positions like I did. My husband was a driver of a semi for 40, 50 years, instructor and everything. Back in the day, he just retired not long ago, but you had to handstand and pay $500 to take 20,000 tests to get a CDL. Now, I understand if you're from Punjabi in California, you just go in, they'll give it to you. You don't have to you can't speak English or read English, but you can get a CDL. People, that's a freaking weapon. That is a weapon. That thing has 30, 40, 50,000 pounds on it. You cannot stop that very quickly. And I think everybody saw the clip where the guy turned sideways. And of course, the traffic couldn't stop. Even if he was from there, didn't understand English, he knew what would happen if he turned suddenly and blocked 6 lanes of traffic. It meant people were going to hit, people were going to die. That's why the bastard, even on the camera inside the cab, didn't even blink. He did it deliberately. There have been several of these. I've seen him in the snow, taking him and going, why are you wearing flip-flops? It's minus 40 out here and there's 3 feet of snow. And this is from the cops who are inspecting it. And what are you doing with this DOT number? Did somebody make this up because it's not real? Or the Lamborghinis that they kept picking up from the Leary schools. For the children, it's for the children. That was for fucking Omar. Omar, yeah, you've got some breast. Total breast, kid. I don't know why she's not been locked up for treason and theft yet, but I ain't in the government anymore. The ones in government sure didn't like us finding out about a whole lot of money. I remember. They've taxed you on your money your entire life. You go to retire, they've been taking that every damn week out your check your entire life. In most of our cases, 40, 50 years. My case, the same as I think my husband might have 60. I got 50. Close enough. That's a lot of money, you would think. And when you retire, they have 4 months to pay you anything from the monies they took from you for 50 odd years for most of us. And they tell you how much they're going to let you have of your money. So be cautious about that. I wasn't. I was like, you sons of bitches. You dirty bastards. And I knew that when my adopted father used to be so angry whenever somebody mentioned Roosevelt, because he was the one who instituted the taxes. We had that problems. I don't know if any of you remember them taking farms and auctioning them off if the family had lived there 300 years, but they couldn't raise enough money to pay the taxes on the property that which had tripled and so forth in size. They couldn't pay it. So they're thrown out with their kids, kiddies, and everything is confiscated that's in the home except for personal items. And they no longer have a family home. So who owns anything? You get a house, you work your entire life. You're not in that fucking house. You're somewhere else to pay for that house. You get you a car and a house, and you work 2 jobs so you can keep up with the payments and the insurance. And there's insurance on both. And what happens? Miss a payment. You can't, because the bank will keep it. Either one or both. Same with Britain. You can owe $20 to something. I don't know why my light's flickering like that. I mean, you can owe $20 in Europe, in Britain. They will come and sell you. You don't get that money up. Yet they have squatters in apartments that they can't get out. But if you owe somebody some money, the court sends people to wherever you're at and takes your shit. But the squatters that have moved into people's rented apartments and homes, well, they can't get them out of there. Got me. I loved Europe. I still love Europe. I think they've cut their own throats. And same with the United States. It's just, come on, you don't even have to have a degree to keep up with this shit, okay? This is my round table 70s hippies talk. Now, I ain't enjoying one of my free world, probably ought to, but my husband gives me a free hand with drinking and having my cigarillo, so I won't push my luck. So I like to talk about all that stuff. The reason last time I spoke, I was talking about Egypt in particular for several reasons, but the one thing I wanted to harken back to is you had Tutmosis. Tutmosis 1, Tutmosis 2, Tutmosis. And that kept bothering me. I was like, what is that from? Why am I'm fidgeting? I do that. And then I found out with DNA testing, and I knew beforehand, I'm 5'2" with strawberry blonde hair and hazel eyes, what they call true hazel eyes. Less than 5% of the entire world's population has true hazel eyes. And so every time I see my ophthalmologist, he's all excited. I had double surgery done on my eyes, and it was a great success. Yes, I still wear glasses. Some of that was, it wasn't technically LASIK. It was other reasons to do so. And with that and the injuries I sustained, I was out of it for, like I said, nearly 2 years. So I'm back, and I didn't want to give up. Even though I couldn't find my audience, I didn't want to give up. I wanted us to get up here and talk, just like we used to do, but nobody was filming. Well, like I said, I can't even get friends in it to do that, so I don't expect too many people to come in. I get them in Augusta, Georgia, and we could do a Zoom call. You can hit live chat. You can leave a comment. I promise you I'll get back. What you see is what you get. Like I said, this is all me. There's nobody doing productions by me, around me, beside me. It's my bar at home. My husband wanted a bar after he had beat cancer and had retired. I told him he'd buy anything he wanted. He went to get the bar, which is a secondhand bar. He thought it was a little corner bar. It's a big bar. We run a tavern. I love this thing. It's great, especially for our parties. Hamlet parties and stuff. Just come on up to the bar. They all like top shelf liquor and they never bring any. I digress. I do that a lot. Like most cigars, you got to get them going. So I was thinking about Tutmosis thing. Let's circle back to that. That was interesting because Herod was killing all the babies because somebody was going to come along that was born in that era and get him. Make it short. Too late, right? But he kept running around like a silly little brain all these years. And about 5-6 years ago, I went, Moses was the baby in the reed basket because Herod was going to kill him. So the mama puts the baby in a reed basket, my husband, and the baby set it to the Nile and goes on down the Nile. He's fine. That little basket's just keeping him fine. And a princess is waiting amongst the lotuses and sees that there's a reed basket caught up in this area. She sends her maids, of course, she's a princess, to fetch the reed basket. And it's a child. It's a little boy. Well, this is a good woman. And she decides to adopt this boy, which makes him a prince of the realm because she's a princess to a pharaoh. And it gets better. So he's raised as a pharaonic king, that if something happens to the king or the whatever prince consort, the next heir, then he can step in. He's actually counted as part of the heirs of the pharaoh, Moses. Now, I don't know when they dropped the tut. This month, I'm like, wait a second. Why didn't that ever occur to me before? So he's going around, he's tearing each apart. Now, mind you, do you think that, why did they finally capitulate? Yeah, we know about all the plagues and stuff. But wasn't there something about it before? Actually look into it. They might have outnumbered them, like 4-1. So they give in, and everybody leaves. Well, what the hell? Something happens, and the Pharaoh decides he's going to go after him. Okay, well, why would you do that? Well, because like locusts, there's 4-1. They just stripped Egypt. I believe they stripped it. And I think this is where they took maybe the Ark of the Covenant. They give measurements, details. God gave it to them in a burning bush and all that. I'm just saying, it's a possibility. And it bothered me. It's like, just a darn second. Now, of course, Pharaoh dies with his troops because he tries to follow them through the path of the Red Sea. They actually found a site that does have a lot of chariots. I think the water receded or something, but they that's true history. For me, I was like, okay, why would this Pharaoh suddenly, his firstborn's dead, everybody's sickening, y'all have done left, why would he chase you? Why? Now, obviously, he didn't make the decision that fast because he's chasing him. And it's not like he catches them. But he's pretty close by the time to get to the Red Sea. Why would he chase him? But when in my mind, I think, wait a minute, was he Tutmosis? He was supposed to be the baby in the basket that was rescued by the princess and raised in the Pharaoh's household and played with the crown prince and the princess's offspring, all of that. He was in the succession line. And I keep wondering if maybe the Pharaoh got pissed off, not about the 10 plagues, That was just devastating. But the anger had to return for him to go after and an army. He took the time to raise an army and go after them. So they must have done something because he let him go and he didn't want him anymore because of what had happened. And they said, "Just take your God and leave," kind of thing. But if they were like locusts that had stripped Egypt, and if they had taken things of great value that were part of, say, the panoply or the pantheon of the gods that Egypt worshipped, something made this Pharaoh so angry that, irregardless of everything else, and being outnumbered, this is the other thing I didn't get, because these guys are scared, Moses is scared and is trying to get his people out of there. What are they scared of? They just struck Egypt, it's wonderful. What are they scared of? All of that doesn't make sense to me. I used to drive preachers and reverends and bishops, cardinals, crazy. When I was in D.C., I was always at the Washington Cathedral. I loved that place. Notre Dame. It just floored me when I saw it on fire. Same with Windsor Castle. I love the royals. I love the family. It broke my heart so bad when Princess Diana left us. And she had said just mere weeks before that they were going to try to kill her in a car accident, and that's how she died. My question on that particular subject was why it took them so long to get her to a hospital so that she died on the table. Way too long. A couple of hours. So I find that strange. With Marilyn Monroe, I finally saw some autopsy photos that she had Indian burns through here, all red, just red. Oh, we called them Indian burns growing up. Do that somebody's arm. And I said, she was murdered. I couldn't believe the picture. And I don't even know what I saw it on, truthfully. I saw it on something. And I was taken aback because I heard there was two different things about ambulance drivers taking her and she was alive at the hospital, that she was not left dead in her room. They had picked her up, took her to the hospital, she was alive. And then I saw that, like I said, that autopsy photo, and instantly said she was murdered. Somebody held her hands over her mouth and nose that she couldn't breathe because she swallowed those pills. Because, of course, that's what she died of, was all that medication. But they made her do that. And you could see, it was not just her mouth, it was across her entire lower face, neck. She had fought hard for her life. And so she was murdered, there's no doubt in my mind. There's so many things that go around that we could talk about. Egypt has this new thing about the satellite LiDAR, that's gone and found all this stuff on a big piece of plateau. Another team found that there were two vortices, empty chambers in the Great Pyramid that nobody's found. That there was something underneath the Sphinx's right paw, irregardless of the rest of the stuff that Giza underneath. People wrote about a labyrinth in Egypt. I think that's where the labyrinth story actually originated from. There's just so much to talk about. And the reason I say that we hippies are underestimated is because we tried to stay out of the government. So the government that we've been seeing apparently has a lot of people who are refugees. They are not Native Americans, they are not natural born citizens, they are refugees, mainly from the Middle East and Africa. So what the hell are they doing? And they don't like us. They don't like us at all. It should not be legal to wear a hijab in the United States. You should not put a woman in the tent making her look like Cousin Aunt. I know y'all remember who Cousin Aunt was from the Addams family. I mean, come on, they got the letterbox, which I took from England. That's what they call letterboxes. And they had this big black tent over it. It's 142 out there. And the husband's wearing shorts underneath this white thing. These women all dressed up in black layers and got the hair all tied into this thing. What the? You trying to murder? They don't even care. And they murder them with glee. It's allowed. There are pictures of them in the 60s and 70s before these regimes took over. And these girls were in miniskirts just like they were in the United States. And they were having a good time. They were living a good life. And now this. China. These kids were living a good life. They put them all in the same uniform. Finally, they said, fuck you. Like Tiananmen Square time. It didn't work. But I've been watching these Chinese dramas, and oh my God. Ladies, if you hear the sound of my voice, Men too. If you hear what I'm telling you about the Chinese costume dramas, if you do not check that out, you have lost your mind. If you're single, go to China, girls. They are some boys out there. Mama did them right, I'm telling you. If I was 20, oh my God. Somebody would try to be peeling me off, and I'd be trying to kill him. Get up. These are some handsome men and women, and they dance. I was a big disco, dirty dancing kind of thing. I loved it. And my brother and I used to dance a lot to different 50s ballads, and the song and so forth. So there was a dance that went with them. We used to go to this cool bar, even though I was coming in on leave and stuff. And we would go to the same bar. And my brother loved it because I could drink now. I was 17, I could drink anywhere back then. I was like, tell me I can't take a bullet and I can't have a drink, I will have your ass. Which I did a couple of times. Once in O'Hara, I waited 2 hours, never did buy a drink, but I was drunk when my brother got there. Yeah. Back then, like I said, it was like, you said what? It was one thing, I don't know if y'all have seen women nowadays in the military. You'll go from the Israeli army. Women can do, not everything men can do, I give you that. But they come pretty close. And as far as being soldiers, they're a dynamite. As far as women being fighter pilots, fuck yeah. Love those girls to pieces. Love the men too, as far as that goes. But again, I digress. But ladies, really check out those costume dramas, those costume Chinese dramas. Just put it on YouTube. You'll get plenty of them. Oh my God. Check out the dancers. Wish I was younger. Because I'd sure be in China right now. I'd be in China looking. You. I digress. It's a fun digress. Look it up, ladies. I'm telling you. Men too. Doesn't matter. All of y'all look it up. They're the best things to say, see on YouTube. Let's see. I got a little time left. I haven't seen too much activity today. But love you anyway. I wish I saw more activity. I would continue to come up here. It's difficult. They're right. It's not easy to get up and say this, that, or the other, or talk about this thing or the other. For me, it's always been this way. I have never felt comfortable around other people because I can't have a conversation with other people, hardly. I kind of fit in with the guys, but with the ladies, no. I didn't do the hair and makeup stuff. No, I do. Actually, I do. I don't talk about it. I just do it. But I've always done it because I'm one of those, lead, follow, get the hell out of my way. You're following me. I'm the leader. I do not follow folk very well. I will get there and I'll tell them what they're doing wrong. I'm cold like that. So yeah, I'm one of those broads. I'm pushing. And now I'm retired. I don't know what to do with it. Hence my staying on YouTube. I retired 2 years ago. I wasn't happy with it. I don't mean the retirement. I mean how they decided to give me my money. Again, you don't make that decision. They do, and they tax you again. They tax you every month you get it, and then they tax you at the end of the year on everything you didn't get. The same way they always have throughout our lifetimes. They always took taxes out. So you only took, say, 12,000, whatever, 12,000 home, say. But you made 18,000. So that when you pay taxes on 18,000. You didn't see 18,000, you saw 12,000. I hated the government. Back circling around the hey hippies, bring the Black Hawks. I'm old and bored. Even if you don't sit up here and talk to me, and I can understand that I'm a little bit off. Cheers. But this is the greatest medium I've ever seen. And I've watched this and done this since it came out. I had a cell phone in 1989. Didn't want it. My husband insisted. Now he says, you don't need a phone, you never answer the phone. I carry my phone, it's in a case, a little rose case. So I don't carry it everywhere. Half the time I forget it. It'll be stuffed in the chair, it's stuffed in the couch, on the bed. I love to. And he'll be calling 40 times. I don't hear it. So half the time when the bill comes through, he's like, "You don't need a phone." Yeah, well, it's handy once in a while. I used to know people's telephone numbers. I used to remember my own phone number from when I was a child. It was mounted on the wall. And that was always fun because everybody in the house, if the phone rang, would head for the phone. I used to sit back and watch it laugh. And nobody was calling me. But I would watch my brother, his friends, my mom, my dad, little sister, all pile on top of each other. Somebody's got the phone receiver, you can't tell. Because they had to have the big cord on them, so if they was walking around, they could still talk. Meanwhile, 4 people were being garroted because it was dark on the phone. Growing up was fun in the 70s and 80s. Well, the 70s, I was home from home by the 80s. The 80s and 90s were pretty bitchy. Then they got stupid in the 21st century. I don't know what happened. You couldn't light a big lighter in a concert anymore. I went, okay, I'm not going. I fought my husband tooth and nail over my first cell phone. Wouldn't carry it at first. Made him crazy. And those bills were high. We were on Sprint. And if you called once, it was $450. You didn't call anybody, it was $230. So my bill was like in between. So I said, okay. I'll answer the phone, take the phone with me. I was always on a base, near a base, something like that. And I ran my own places. I hired my own people. I got my own equipment, whatever I wanted. Dell was one I liked when it first came out. And I was at the University of Texas Health Science Center. We were putting together a gestational diabetic teaching manual for the doctors that came through. This meant that they were only diabetic when they were pregnant. And we did a good job on that. Got through in 2 years. Took it home a lot. But you had records out the wazoo and all that. I felt for the girls, and I did it myself in transferring these to digital. That was fun, wasn't it? You went from a typewriter, word processor, to a computer, to another computer, tablet. Now it's in your phone. That annoys me. I don't know how many people do that. But, it's really rude. My kid does that. My grandson does that. And I call them out. And they kind of look at me like, are you going to hit me? And I'm just looking at them. They go, okay. And back to their phone. Because I've got to the age, they're grown. Even my youngest grandchild is now a freshman in high school. I remember being a freshman in high school. I was much younger. I took things on quickly and got through. Graduated twice when my parents retired. I guess I mentioned Christopher, Illinois. Went to university after graduating second time in high school because I was bored. Hence me having 2 chevrons when I went active duty, which made you a private E2 at the time. Made you a private. They didn't call you anything but a trainee unless you had those stripes. So I was a private second class. So I never slept. If we were off duty, I had to work for the CO or the XO, one of them, answering the phones, typing up shit. I never slept. One time I made the mistake of going to get my uniforms back, and I squared them down and ran to chow. And when I came back, my CO was standing on my shit. And yeah, I ended up with KP duty. So I went 3 days without sleep because I had been doing all the other stuff. Then I had KP. Well, when I got off, I went up and I grabbed my bunk. I'm like, I've got at least 6 hours of sleep. Nope, you're on the roster for KP. So I had to do KP back to back. So it was almost into the 4th day. And the guy that was running the kitchen said, I feel bad for you. Go sleep. Because I had literally been working for 4 days without any rest. And I'm 5'2", so that helped out a lot. And we were the first women. So the guys were really great to us. God bless y'all. They treated us as mothers, sisters, daughters. They did not disrespect us in any way. They helped us if they needed to, and if it was allowed, depending. I had to carry a man down. Every one of us women did. You had to carry everything, all of your kit, your rifle, everything, and still grab the person this down. You're not going to leave behind. And I'm 5'2", and this guy's 6'4". His head's straight in the ground. But you do it. They train you so well. It was amazing. For those of us who were small, I came back with like no neck. I gained, I think it was 35 pounds during boot camp. And I went home on my first leave. And my former fiance was there. We had separated because he was in the Army when I enlisted. And he didn't want his wife to be in the service. He thought his wife should be at home. And I laughed at it. It was nice knowing you, Rick. Here's your ring. I got to go. Not going to do this. And but we were still friends and all. And I came back, and he wanted to know who was bending over the pool table. Oh, shit. Had not married then. Was dating no one. I wasn't either. So we hooked up. So that was a good vacation. My mother wasn't happy about that shit. I got a hotel room. She was not happy. I didn't want everybody to know my business. They knew anyway. And we are still friends to this day. He was a great guy. He's a great guy. None of us are getting any younger. He's about my husband's age. I think he's a year younger than my husband, if I remember right. Which God only knows if I do. I decided I had another hit of whiskey before I leave. Well, we got about 10 minutes. I'm going to sit up here and tell y'all, we're hippies. Get together. If you don't get together with me, then get together yourself. Get up here before they decide to say, oh, you have to pay this, you got to do that, they're going to censor this, that. I mean, look at Britain. I mean, they actually have the thought police. You talk about Orwell's 82 coming alive. Look at Britain. Holy crap, cracker. I watched a Holden ambulance up because they were having a pride parade. You nuts? This was in the middle of London. It's an ambulance, and they just wouldn't let it through. I'm like, oh my God. Then I hear that a boy's been stabbed and dies in his twin's arms by an immigrant, a refugee, in my mind, another boy stabbed 5 times in the back. They handcuffed the kid and said he was the perpetrator, while the perpetrator is busy whispering to them that this kid just kept insulting him. 5 stab wounds in the back. And he told them, I've been stabbed. And they went, no, you're good, mate. And he died. What happened? Nothing. Some of us talk about it, not much. Speaking of the Chinese dramas, I've seen so many lately that have passed. The last was in Korea. I watched those 2. They're very good. And Yu Ming Long is the guy that killed me because I had started watching Chinese dramas on YouTube because this particular boy and the movie he was in. And I got into what he was doing. And that's exactly how I stepped into the Chinese dramas. And then I find that he's been tortured for years. But at least at last, it was for weeks. No friend turned up. Nobody helped this boy. He signed for help and nobody saw it or ignored it. And he was murdered, thrown off his balcony on the 15th floor. And I don't want that name to disappear. Charlie got shot and murdered in front of the world. And I don't hear anyone speak of him anymore. I haven't seen his widow, and I don't blame her. I didn't agree with, the whole fanfare thing and leather pants and grabbing J.D. Vance, but, a widow is a widow. And leather pants is over the top. Fireworks might just, your husband is dead, and that's why you're there. But you're wearing leather pants and a T-shirt. So I didn't agree with that very well. I got something in my eye. I got it up. And so there's a lot of things going on. Like I said, you got the earthquakes, you got tsunamis, you got flooding, fire, famine. It's just biblical out here. I keep expecting to wake up and think, okay, I've seen it all. Now the world is actually ending. Because, if they close Walmart, we're all dead in a week, if it takes that long. Because your neighbors are going to steal from you, shoot you in the head. Because nobody knows how to grow their own food, and those who do, they got rid of it. Most of the farms are big. They're big business. I actually used to do the taxes when I worked as an accountant in a small town. I also ran the newspaper, small town. for years, and I saw that this place was a family-owned company. It was a good, made a lot of money. Peaches is what they did. I won't say who they are, but it was then taken over. Suddenly they had more and more land, and all this is coming through the tax records. And I'm like, what? They've been doing the records for a couple of years by that point. And I'm like, what's? It's no longer theirs. It's their name, but it's really no longer theirs. The government is subsidizing its extra buyouts and stuff around. They've just bought farmland everywhere. I mean, and so now it's government. Now they don't say it's a government-backed place. It's just you do accounts for big firms and big businesses. You can see a trend, and in some cases they even said so. I don't think that was a good idea, folks. I really don't. I think it's criminal that kids, my grandkids, my grandchild, my son, none of them had woodworking, auto shop, cooking, sewing. We had all of that. So we came out of there, we could make our own clothes. We could cook. We could actually plant a garden because my parents had planted fruit trees everywhere and had a huge garden. My mother had a small garden. Hers was painted flowers and herbs. And my father was just fantastic about this thing. We could eat. And in those days, you didn't have food stamps. By the way, I was in on the food stamp program in its inception. My mother and I developed this system that they use today. So it's another first. In any event, yeah, so your dad had potatoes, he had onions, he had tomatoes, he had squash, he had watermelons, he had everything in season. I mean, and mind you, there's not a big season to grow in Chicago, as you well know. And so, even the fruit trees, but they took everything and they canned and they preserved and they did all this stuff. My mother could make a cake out of air and a little chocolate cocoa. I can't do that. I've got a box. Okay, needs what? And you go, oh, I made the cake. No, I didn't. I just heated up something in a box and threw it in the oven. It's just, think about it, folks. We do not know these things, and they've been drilled out of the successive generations past us. So my kid's kid, and their kids are getting dumbing down so bad that even through the pandemic, you still had Walmart, Target. You couldn't go to church to get married and have anybody. And you couldn't graduate. You could do that. But you could protest and you could go to Walmart. And Walmart took out everything. There's no more small mom and pop shops. Those are all gone. There were still quite a few until the pandemic got rid of that. And we were so glad we paid for that. And then our president called it the truth, China virus. You call it Spanish flu, you call it China virus. And it wasn't just a China virus, it was a biohazard weapon, and it killed millions of people around the world. Now think about that. Millions of people around the world. This was not a small event. And the United States did pay for that. And that bastard that ran it and made millions off of it is sitting up in the Senate calling he's got to plead the fifth. No, he don't. He was given a presidential pardon for everything, anything that might show up. They were just trying him for contempt. They couldn't do nothing to him. They knew that. They told him so. He still wouldn't tell him what color the tie was. He had to call I claimed the fifth on the advice of man had like 6 attorneys. One wouldn't shut up, got the front row, and they weren't supposed to be allowed there. They had to throw him out. I like watching that one. It's called secession. Or at least it is when they're talking about the Civil War. They had a problem because the South seceded from the Union. By the way, for those who aren't knowledgeable on that subject, it's why you don't say just America anymore. You say the United States, or you say the United States of America, because that's what it became when the North won the war. Now, Fort Sumter fired a cannonball. One cannonball. And the others said, we're going to make our own government because we don't like your laws and you're conceding on our state's individuality, which at that time was what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be part of America, yes, but you weren't supposed to be allowed to tell another state what to do, when to do it, where to do it, so forth and so on. And now, and for some time, we have sanctuary cities. We're not going to cooperate with you. In fact, we're going to tell them we're ISIS and what they look like. It's treason. There's no other word for that. It's treason. It's secession from the Union. Not only should we have gone to war over this if that was necessary, but none of these people should be in office. Now, they may cut me down for that, but that's the bottom line. When you secede from the Union, when you tell the federal government you do not respect their law in your state, it's called treason, it's called secession, and I don't know why they haven't done a damn thing about it yet. Been a decade or more. It's ridiculous. You have so many homeless that you can't walk around in San Francisco or Los Angeles without stepping in human waste, or wondering if the guy that's standing there in front of you, shaking, trying to use his phone to get his dope, if he's going to hit you with that dirty needle because he's nuts. You don't know. And how many say it's just ridiculous what they've been allowed to do. Same with what happened when you had 40 million across the border, when old Biden was playing Weekend at Bernie's for 4 years. Nobody knew. I love after he's gone, all of the news. Oh, we knew, but we weren't sure, kind of thing. Over 15 years ago, I stopped watching now what they call the legacy news because they aren't news. They don't talk anything about news. They talk about so-and-so's running for governor. I don't give a flip who's running for governor because they don't run for nothing. They pay for the seat. If they want the Senate, they go buy it. And if they don't buy it, they don't win. The same thing with the Electoral College. You cannot tell me that you represent my vote when you vote before me, and the president who's just been nominated as president and who wins the presidency does so because of the Electoral College and comes out and says that he won the Electoral College, but he also won the popular vote. Think about it. Let it sink in. Google it. They will tell you on Google. The United States president is not elected by the fucking people, for the people, of the people. It's elected by the Electoral College to represent the people. Now, I don't know how the hell they represent me or anybody else, because they can do this before you even fucking stupid enough to vote. The other thing I'd like to make a point of, it used to be a sacred duty to vote. It used to be a secret ballot. You didn't have 14 signs in your front yard. You didn't have your entire car painted as you were voting for this one. There were no hats, t-shirts, and such. You went in, you pulled the curtain, you voted, and you got the flip out. And people go, oh, well, they didn't get this or that because they voted for it. Well, you're stupid. If you want to go give them money, and then you want to say who you voted for, don't bitch about somebody not liking you. Politics is something you can't discuss even at the dinner table. And that's an axiom I've carried my entire life, and I'm not a young puppy. But thank you for thinking so. Anyway, I'm about to get off of here. I pray that those who are in these earthquakes and tsunamis, China was hit by a typhoon that seems to have displaced 1 million people. Now think about it, folks. It's a lot of people. A lot of people. I've seen a camel float by when it was flooding. I think it was Dubai. Camels were floating by. Okay, God, I've seen it all now. No, I was wrong. There's more. So, I guess I'm about to sign off and tell y'all, if you want to see me, see me. If you don't, put that down in there too, and I will stop getting up here and haranguing one particular section of America, which is us hippies. Because we were too busy and we don't give a shit. We wouldn't sit in the Senate if you paid us. And trust me, they pay them very well. But I wouldn't do it on a bet, on a whim. I wouldn't do it ever. These guys, you can't get them out till they're 89. Dianne Feinstein was wheeled in on a gurney so she could say, which way do you want to vote? They're like, just vote for no. Well, what's it about? Don't worry about it, just vote no. I think she died 24 hours later or some shit. Ted Kennedy probably died in the seat itself. I mean, come on. Term limits is not something that should have been discussed, should have already been implemented. But my time is up. I didn't even get into the paranormal and all the other stuff that's going on, which is absolutely creepy. So give me a holler, write something down, subscribe, like, dislike, do something. If you saw me, maybe you could share if you thought it was worth it. But come up here, hippies unite, for God's sakes. Let's use this before they take it away. In the meantime, I'm looking forward to Friday. I might be up here, I might not. If I don't get here Friday, I was glad to see you. Let me know how you're doing. Respect, guys. Respect to everything and everyone all the time. But don't get in my face with a megaphone and tell me I need to respect you because you're this, that, or the other. That won't work with me. You will need medical insurance. Toodles.